Okay, so this video is going to be a quick assessment of this Toro recycler that I just bought for 40 bucks on Marketplace. This has a Toro engine, and it is a 195cc Toro engine. See right there, 195cc. Guaranteed to start on the first or second pull. Well, let's put that to the test right now and see what was going on. The guy said it wouldn't start, which is why I got it for that. But this one actually has a self-propel, and I mean, massive Toro engine on this thing. It's, I mean, 195cc. That's about as big as it gets. 195, 200 cc's is about as big as a lawnmower, push mower will get. This is the other recycler I've been working on. This one has drive issues. Hopefully that one has no drive issues, but you can see that that one's a little bit newer than this model. Yeah, let's check it out and see what's going on. I suspect it's probably carb. You know, 95% of the time it is, but we'll see what's up with it. Okay, so on these Toro motors, the carb is over here on the side. There's your bulb. Here's the intake by the look of it. I've never worked on one of these, so I have no idea, but that looks to me like that's the intake. Let's see if we can get the breather off of it and get some starter fluid in there and just see if it turns over at all. It says rotate to remove. Okay, there you go. Okay, we might consider a new filter. There's like a little plastic straw coming out the back there. I'm not sure what that is. He did have one missing bolt over here. Let's see what I've got. Yeah, that'll work. So that adjustment screw is from another disassembled piece of machinery. Let me see if I can. I'm just going to spray some carb spray or something in there, or something to use as a starter fluid. There's no gas in it, but I sure hope that there was a filter in there, because it's got a bunch of gunk stuff in there. You see the stuff on the bottom. What I might do is at some point disconnect the fuel hose and put a little bit of gas in that tank. Maybe take the tank off and swish it around with a little bit of fuel, and then dump that out and just flush it clean. But I just use this WD-40 contact cleaner. It's an electronics contact cleaner, and it's flammable, so I'll spray it in here and see what we get. Well, one thing I see, I don't know if somebody tilted it or what, but we've got oil coming out from below the exhaust. It's like running down. So I wonder what's up with that. We'll see. We'll try to turn it over here and see what happens. Blowing lots of smoke. So yeah, we definitely have oil in the exhaust cavity. So what I would say probably happened was they dumped it on its side, trying to look at it or work on it or something like that, and in the process they dumped it on the wrong, they laid it on the wrong side really, and dumped all this fuel out. Try it again. Yeah, I think it's probably going to run. It's just going to need a fuel system clean, you know, usual carb clean out. This one's going to need the fuel tank cleaned. And let's check the oil, see what it looks like. Ooh, look at that. Almost nothing there. Almost nothing there. I really want to see where the oil is coming from. Does this have an oil drain plug on this? The reason I'm wondering is because there's a... I don't know why they would put a drain plug in this location. What is this? Is this a missing head bolt, or is that supposed to be some kind of oil drain plug? I don't know. It's got threads, but what the hell is it? I might have to look up this model. That might be the easiest thing to do. Just look up this model online, see what's supposed to go there. And I wonder if there's, it doesn't look like there's oil coming out of that spot, so there's none inside of there anyway. We've established some things. The motor's obviously free, there's spark, it's turning over, it's gonna go. We just gotta get the fuel system clean, carburetor clean, get oil in it, and yeah, I think we're gonna have a working mower, hopefully. All right, so I had an extra bag to another mower that sold. The guy didn't want the bag though. He said he never used it anyway, so I just kept that. So I was gonna probably put that one on this mower and take this Toro one and put it with this to sell. But yeah, the way these bags go on there, they have these little mounts right here and right there up on the handlebars, and this one doesn't have it. There's no bagger mounts. That's odd. Wonder if I'm just missing something here. Okay, so a couple more things I just found. This cover came off with, there's no screws in that at all, so I'll have to hunt down some screws to put in that. So those are missing, so somebody's definitely had that off, trying to mess with it. Also, the hose clamp for the fuel hose right there is in the wrong spot, so somebody's already been messing with the fuel hose. Probably had the gas tank off, I would guess. But we're going to go ahead and remove it anyway. So well, it's got a little bit of fluid of some kind in there, but like I said, it's really mucky and dirty. Okay, that's looking much better down inside of there. So I think the tank is good now, at least. Let's go ahead and take the carburetor off, I think, and address that. We'll clean it just regardless. Okay, I can already see we're gonna probably have a bit of a time here, because I don't know if this engine's made by Tecumseh or not, but the filter says it's a Tecumseh branded filter that was in here. That's the filter. So I don't know if this whole engine is Tecumseh or not, but what they have done with the carb, look at the way they've mounted it. So they've got a bolt over here that's pretty easy to access. Then they've got one way back over in there that's really going to be a pain in the ass, it looks like. I might be able to reach it with an extension. Yeah, hell, there's bolts missing out of the front of this too. I don't even see how to mean for you to reach this. Maybe that's got to be off of there. It's actually a pretty cool looking engine without all that plastic on it. Okay, so that is coming off with a wrench. Had to remove the recoil assembly to get a little bit more space on this side, and it's getting a wrench in there now. And also, if you can see here, I dropped down this side of the carb, so it's a little bit lower, so it's giving it a bit more clearance too. Definitely the win goes to Briggs on easy carb removal. Yeah, this carburetor says Tecumseh on it too. So this is a Tecumseh engine. I think I'm gonna give it a little bit of a spray, close up the air hole there, the intake, and just spray this down pretty good. Okay, I got these carb parts back out of the ultrasonic, and we're going to reassemble this thing. Came pretty good and clean. Hopefully we won't have any carb issues. The only thing I did not remove was the emulsion tube. I think I've called this the emulsifier in past videos. I'm not sure. I think they mainly call it an emulsion tube. But anyway, that's the main tube up here that kind of scatters all of the, sort of atomizes the fuel as it sprays it up through there. And you can see where maybe you can, maybe you can't, I don't know. But inside of there is a little piece of red plastic sticking up from the bottom that's coming out of this tube, and that's what sprays the fuel up into this chamber. As the air passes over it, it drags that fuel and mixes it with air into the intake. But it's pretty clean now, like I said, so I think we're good. The only thing on this that really could use a swap is the gasket for the bowl. It is pretty crusty, and honestly I don't know how much I trust that thing, but I don't think I have a replacement at the moment that I could use with it. Let me see if I've got an O-ring. I might have an O-ring, possibly. Let me see. I do have an O-ring that's the right size by the look of it. This is obviously not the correct shape, but I'm thinking at least it's supple and it might work better than the cracked thing that I have going here right now. So hopefully I'm thinking it should just sit there, and that should seal better than this thing, so we'll try it with that. Okay, there is another rubber gasket on this assembly, and it goes right here, and it's kind of a squarish shape. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's kind of a squarish kind of a shape. You might be able to get away with an O-ring there too. Probably could. Let me see. I got a kit here. I just got one of these Harbor Freight O-ring kits. This one is this metric? Yeah, this is a metric one, but they come in standard too. But if you wanted to replace that little gasket, it's possible. Let's see. It's possible you could just size it like this. That's looking close. But I think that's our cigar right there. Yeah, I think that would work if we needed it to, but I don't think we're going to need that. We'll roll with the old one. It seems to be fine. Okay, the only part that's really different from some of the Briggs and Honda stuff is this, the needle valve. It's got this little piece that attaches to it. Can you see that? It's like a thin wire, and it kind of, I guess it hangs from this. That's the only thing I really don't like about this design. It's really, I don't know. That doesn't seem very secure when you put it on here. It just seems really like a dumb way of doing it to me. I don't know. I mean, it almost looks like something someone rigged up, but I don't think it is. I think it's actually factory. But I think it just hangs like that off of there. I mean, can you see? Let's see. See if we can focus. If you look down in there, you should see it lifting up. You see the valve? It's over here on this side. See it attached under there, getting lifted up. So if you want to test that, you can actually blow in where the fuel comes in, which in this case is here. You can blow here and see if air comes through when it's pressed down. So that is working. It's doing the job. Alright. This little part that goes here, that little screw. Right. And we'll get our O-ring on here. That's looking pretty good all the way around right there. I think that's going to work out. Yeah, that works perfectly. So what do we have here? We got number 327, part number P48, 47.7 inner dimension and 54.7 outer dimension, and a 3.5 section, so that's in millimeters. So that's, anyway, so that's the one that you would need if you're doing the same engine on an O-ring. And that worked out really perfectly. But you can see how, just, you see the old one. I mean, it's just, it's really seen better days, and it's cracking. It's not to the point where it's cracked quite yet, but I can feel it's about to go. Alright, so there's the car back together. Let's get it back on the machine and we'll see if it runs. Yeah, if you're having trouble with this, you're getting one on, put this inside on first so you can tilt it a little bit and get a little more clearance. That's what I felt I found out I had to do. All right, like I said, we're missing a couple of screws out of this top part. We'll sort that out in a bit, but I want to get it back together enough where we can at least see if it's gonna fire over on its own with some gas. We'll put some gas in it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see what I got. All right, I did find some screws for that. I am going to go ahead and add some oil to what's there. The oil that's in it, there's not very much. It doesn't appear to be that bad, so I'm just going to add to it and bring the level up where it needs to be before we try to run it. Yeah, that's right at the full line right there. So that took a lot, actually. All right. Make sure we don't have any problems on the deck before we really give it a go. I see none. Actually, the deck looks really clean. And the thing is, this has a sticker on it up here. That's either the place that sold it or a place that has serviced it, and that's in the same little town where I went and got it. So yeah, I mean, at least someone has looked at this thing at some point. So let's see what she does and how long she smokes. Yeah, it's definitely still burning out a bunch of oil that was in the exhaust. I mean, you can see it there. Yeah, I'd say there's probably just a whole puddle of oil in that exhaust. Let's give it a couple passes on the lawn and just kind of see what it does. I'm curious. I did test you couldn't tell it there, but this has a personal pace self-propel pressure pad thing. So when you push this is different than a lot of other systems. When you push this plastic bit, you see how it's moving relative to this. There's a lever system down here, so when you push this, you can see it moving. See this lever right here? It pushes this back, actually, and pulls this, which engages the belt drive. Okay, so that did fantastically. The only thing I would say is that the personal pace self-drive system is fast. It might be a little bit fast for some people, maybe. You know, it's one of those things. If you press on it more lightly, it doesn't take off, but you know, just a little bit of a press, it tends to go. I mean, you can see kind of how fast I was walking there, just keeping up with it. It's that's kind of a first. Usually you're asking more of one, but this one's going. All right, I think we're gonna give her a wash. And anything else? Man, the blade seems really good on it. I don't think it's gonna need anything at all. I think this one is ready to go. Just give it a wash. I did run through some dog poop, so I definitely want to wash that off there. So a couple of flaws that I can see with this design, with a couple of the designs. First of all, you could see when I was tilting the thing backwards, it tried to die on me, and that's because of the orientation of the carburetor. The fuel comes in this way, and the mouth of the carb shoots this way. So if you raise it up, it's fighting against gravity to push gas into the engine, whereas most of them, they're lateral, so no matter how far back you tilt it, they could still get gasoline into the system. So that's one flaw, because some people, you know, sometimes you do want to raise one up and kind of spin it around. Maybe they just don't want you doing that, and that's like, I don't know, but that's one thing I wouldn't like, if it tried to die every time I, you know, lifted the front end. But another thing I noticed is that the way that this system is on here, first of all, it wasn't working quite as good just then because it was all wet. I, you know, had the belt probably got wet and it was slipping a little bit. But when you go to start it, you pull this back, and when you go to start it, now naturally your right hand, if you're right-handed like me, you're going to pull, and this one is going to tend to push forward like this. But the problem with that is when you push forward, you're engaging the drive, which is putting more strain on the engine, making it more difficult to start, kind of. It's kind of an awkward thing. I mean, really, there almost needs to be a lock, like something you could put, like a start mode. I wonder if they got one on here. Like something right here that would come across and just sort of lock it, like you flip a thing or something, it locks this down so this doesn't move, just when you're starting it. And then if you want to go, you unlock it and go, you know, then you can push this thing back and forth. But you need to be able to make that stable so you can grab that and pull. Anyway, that's just, yeah. Maybe I'll write to Toro. This is probably a slightly older model anyway. I'm sure they've replaced that system already. They probably even found the flaws. But yeah, so that'll do it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, hit subscribe, and we'll see y'all.